Now we're going to talk about directory management on Linux. So in other words, how do we create a bunch of directories and subdirectories? For example, here in my home directory, I will just give you examples of, I've got a pmdir, that's the name of a directory I'm using. Inside that is D1 directory, and inside D1 is a D2 directory along with a bunch of files. So if you do a tree command in Matrix or on Linux, it's going to give you a pictorial representation of what directories and files exist. And I'm going to be using that as I show you examples. So we will learn about how to list the directory that exists and its contents. So anything below that directory, whether it's other directories, other files, how we list those. We're going to do the same thing with the find command. So we did here with the ls command and its options. Here we're going to learn how to do it with the find command and its options. We're going to learn how to create a brand new directory or directory and subdirectory. We're going to see how we change directories or go into a directory, and how we copy one or more directories, how we rename them, and how we delete them. So let's take a look. So currently I want to make sure I'm in my home directory, so I'm going to go CD and hit enter. Now I know I'm in my home directory. PWD is the option which allows you to see where you are, and you can see from the root home directory and then my individual user ID. To list any kind of files and directories that exist, ls command will just show you the names, and if you want to look at details, you will use some options with that. So first of all, let me go into the pmdir so you don't see a very long list of directories and files. How do I go into pmdir? I can do cd and go that way. So let me first show you what I have. So I'll do a tree command and I will say show me what's inside pmdir. So I have a whole bunch of stuff here actually. I have the D1 directory inside pmdir, I have the D2 directory and a bunch of files, but then I also have a whole lot of other files which I'm not going to use in this particular set of examples. So just let's focus on these ones here. So the tree command is always very handy to get a pictorial representation of what exists. All right, let us just going to clear. The clear command clears the screen. Let me go into pmdir, and pwd shows me that I'm there. I'm inside pmdir. So if I do an ls command, I will see a list of directories and files. So you cannot rely on the color coding. So directories will not always be blue. The picture files won't always be purple. So don't rely on the color coding, but just note that there are some directories and some files here. So how do we know that? ls-l for a long list of names will show you this. So I did ls-l, and that showed me the same information but a lot of detail, one line per file or directory. So if you look at D1, the way that you can see it's a directory is go to the left side, extreme left, and you see the letter D. So if the very first letter is a D, then we know this is a directory, regardless of what color coding it has. For all the other things you're seeing, the first character is a blank, just a dash. That means these are just all files. All right, so just one directory, and then these are all files. So ls-l is the way to look at this detail. Let me clear that. Now, if I say ls-l and a capital R stands for recursive. That means it's going to go not only to show you the first level of D1, but it'll show you D2, etc. as well. So here we go. So it shows me D1 and everything that's in there, but then because D2 is another directory there, it actually shows me that as well. So ls-lr says recursively, which means go down all the levels from the current directory. What if I just wanted to see the directories only? I can say ls-l, but then put a D next to it and give the name of the directory. So if I say ls-l d1, now I'm saying show me the information, but only about this one, and the content only about this one directory. So D1 is all it's going to show me. All of these are contained inside D1, and that's why it's showing me that. If I change this and I actually put a D in this spot, I'm saying show me the information about the D1 directory that I'm saying by itself. So without the D, it shows the content of what's inside D1. With the D here, it's showing me just one line about the directory that I'm pointing out over here. So that's a good way to, if you just want to narrow down to the directory only. If I say ls-F, it puts a forward slash. Capital F stands for forward slash. So anytime there's a directory, supposing this was not color coded, then you'd still be able to see that this is a directory because it's putting a forward slash next to the name of directories only. ls-LA, A stands for all, will show you all the files including the hidden files. In Linux, you have anything beginning with a dot is a hidden file. So in this case, dot means current directory. Dot dot means the parent. If we go back, so the parent means what is the directory inside which this is contained. So if D1 has D2, let's go back here one moment. Let's look at the parent and child. So in this case, this is the parent for D1, but then D1 is the parent for D2. So this is parent, child. The same directory now becomes parent, that's the child. So D1 has D2 as the child directory inside it. All right. So anytime you want LA, capital R, so now I'm saying that I want to see all the recursively, which means all the levels I want to see, and not only about regular files, but also anything that's hidden. So ls-LA says, ls-L says, show me the long list. A means show me all, including hidden files. Capital R says recursively, which means go all the way down. So don't just stop at D1. If there's D2 inside there, go there. If there was other files here, it would show me those. If there was other directories here, it would show me those. So R is recursively go down all the way. And then of course we can do a tree command. And if we just say tree, then it's going to show me everything pertaining to the directory that I'm in. A dot means current directory. So since I'm in PMDIR, it says inside PMDIR, it shows me D1, D2, and all the files that are inside D1, and then it shows me all the other files that are there as well. So tree is a pictorial representation of what's the contents are. However, if I want to just clear the screen, if I say tree, and instead of just hitting enter, if I give it a name of a directory I want to see. So I'm saying now, please show me the pictorial representation of the directory called D1. So now it only shows me D1. I can also say D2, and now it shows me, it tries to show me D2, but because that is contained inside here, it's having an error opening that at the first level. Another way to find directories is with a find command. So I can say find Dot means current directory, and I can give it a name if I know the name of the directory. So if I want D1, and I only want anything that's a directory, not necessarily a file. So now it just shows me one level of information. So it shows me where D1 is, and that's all it's showing me because I didn't want it looking at files. I can narrow down with a find command. I can narrow it down with names, and I can narrow it down with type of file. If I say type D, it only shows me directory. If I say type F, it only shows me files. If I said find in the current directory, type D, now I'm not giving it any name. I'm not saying look just for D1, right? I'm just saying find in the current directory, type D, which means anytime it finds a directory, it should report it starting from where I am. So now it shows me not only D1, but also the D2, which is contained inside D1. So it shows me both. So the beauty with find command is it goes recursively down if you let it do its job. If you narrow it down with a specific name, then it only shows you that. Let's look at creating. So if I want to create a directory, the command for that is mkdir. mkdir. So if I say mkdir d3, I'm making a directory called d3. And if I say, let's see, how do we know that it's made, right? If I do a tree command, I should be able to see D3, and I see it right here, the D3 directory. I can also do an ls-l and ask it to show me D3, ls-ld, so that it shows me detail about that directory. So you can see D3 is here, and it has D as the first character, which means it's confirming that what I've just created is a directory. In Linux, you can also do an mkdir and use space inside the name of a file or a directory if you really want to. Not recommend it, but I just want to show you that you can do it. So if I say dira space dirb, and I put this in quotation. Quotation means this whole thing is treated as one name, including the space. So the name of this it's not creating two directories, it's creating one directory, the name of which will be dira space dirb. And ls-ld, and I want to look for what I just created. So I had to put quotations, otherwise it would think I'm looking for two separate directory names, directory A and directory B, but it's really one name, so I had to put in quotes to preserve this space. So you can see that the directory name called dira space dirb is one directory. You can see that because there's a D here. You can also, if you didn't put the quotations, it's going to create multiple directories. So it'll create this one and this one separately. For example, I can do an mkdir and I can say d4 space d5. Now I'm asking it to create a directory or make a directory called d4 and create a directory called d5. And you can see that directory 4 and directory 5 got created just now. Sometimes you want to create multiple levels. In other words, mkdir, if I use the -p for parent, then what it does is, let's say I'm giving it this command. So what am I saying? I'm saying create a directory. If the parent does not exist, create that. I want this structure. So I want D6 as the parent and D60 as the child. So what it does is it looks for D6. If it's there, it creates D60 inside that. But if it's not there, it'll create D6 and also create D60 underneath that. So you can create multiple levels by using the -P option here. So now if we look at the tree command, notice that D6 is created and D60 is created inside that. I can also do an ls-l capital R for recursive so that it tells me all the levels. And since D6 only has one other level, it's showing me that. So D6, and then inside D6, it shows me that it has D60. So anytime you use capital R with ls command, it's going to recursively show all levels. If you don't give anything here, it'll show all levels from the current directory. If you do show a name of a directory, it'll show you everything from that point down. We've been using the cd command to change directories. If I just said cd, I will move or jump directly into my home directory. Wherever you are, it just goes straight to your home directory. If I give a name of a directory, so if I said D1, it's going to try and go into that. How do I know? So home and Praveen Matera is where I was, but now I'm inside D1. So if I say cd and the name of a directory, it goes inside there. If I said cd/bin, I'm now asking it to jump to the root and after root into the bin directory, and that's where this will go. So the cd command simply takes you to change the directory, and whatever path you give it, that's where it's going to go. I'm going to go back to my home directory now by saying cd. All right, let's try to copy some directories now. So if I wanted to copy, the command is cp. And if I want to copy recursively, which means all levels from that point down, I need to do a -R for recursive. Now, if I put the name of a directory here, so let's say I want to copy the directory D1 and all its contents, and I want to copy it to D10, then this is how I would say it. So in most of the commands in Linux, you first put the original directory or file, and then you put the new directory or file. So in this case, I'm saying copy recursively, which means all levels. Take D1, which should exist already, otherwise I'll get an error message. And the new name is D10, which is where it's going to put everything. So when I hit enter, if I do a tree command, and I want to show D1 and I want to show D10. So let's take a look. So here it's showing me D1 and all its contents, and here it's showing me D10. So it took all of this stuff, see, and copied it under D10. So we copied recursively, which means everything from D1 into D10. So it just plunks it all underneath that. That's how you do the copy command. You can also do a rename. The command for rename is mv to move. Let me just clear the screen here. mv for move. mv for move. And what am I moving? Let's say I'm moving D1, which means it's going to rename D1. It's going to rename D1, and the new name is, let's say, D100. So in this case, it's going to take D1 and the name will be changed to D100. So this will not exist anymore. The D1 will not exist anymore. So if I try to do D1 tree, it'll give me an error message because it's not there. It changed that name to D100. So if I say D100, and it should be able to show me that. Right? So we just moved or renamed from D1 to D100. How do we delete directories? The command that you can use can be either rmdir, but if I use that, it has to be an empty directory. If I say rmdir 100, d100, it says I can't remove it because it's not emptied. So the lesson there is, unless rmdir command can only be used if the directory that you're trying to delete is empty. So if we can't use rmdir, what can we use? The command to use is rm, that's it. And if we want the entire content, any subdirectories, any files, then we must put -r for recursive. Now if I say rm-r d100, I'm saying remove all the contents, and it did that. So when there's no error message, nothing, that means it's quietly done the job and everything's good. So if I now try to do tree d100, it will give me an error message because it's gone, right? We just deleted that. So let's pick another one. Let me go into, where am I? PWD. I'm in my home directory. Let me go into pmdir. And if I do the tree command, I have a few things here. So let's say that I want to delete something, but I want to be prompted before I actually do the deletion. So let's say D1. I'm trying to delete D1, but I don't want to just delete it. I want it to ask me before it deletes it. So how do we do that? The command for that is rm to remove, -I for interactive, capital R for recursive, which means all the levels down, and then the name. So now, see how it kind of goes down and descends into the directory, and it's asking me whether it should remove it or not. If I say yes, it's going to remove it. But then before it can remove, it's saying there's an empty file called file1, do you want to remove it? I'll say yeah. Then it comes across P2, another file. I'll say yep, delete that. It says I have another file, POP. I'll say yep, delete that. And that, so it kind of descends down into all of the files that were there. Let me show you here. So we're trying to delete D1. And in order for it to delete it, it's kind of going here, asking me if that's okay to delete. And it says, is this okay? Is this okay? Is this okay? And is this okay? If I say yes to everything, then only it'll kind of go back and delete this and go back and delete this. If I say no to any of those, it's not going to finish the deletion. So I'll just say yes. I'll just say yes and yes. And finally, now it's gone. So if I do a tree command and try to see D1, it's going to have an error opening it because we just deleted it. So how did we do that? Well, we did it with a remove command, but we used -I for interactive and capital R for recursive, and then we gave it the name of the directory. So that's how we create directories, copy directories, rename them, as well as remove the directories. Okay, thank you.